Welcome to another episode of Verbal Laxative.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go.
I am Jason.
Ready to rumble.
My name is Brian.
And Simpson.
We don't have to pay royalties to that guy, right? Because he has it coined or something, right?
Should I take
No,
it
it doesn't.
Is it McMahon? Is that who?
No, I don't know actually. But
that guy that
anytime anyone uses that phrase, like in a professional setting or
For
something,
boxing.
he gets money or
Kind
company.
of like how McMahon is so integral to his own business. Like he has his own storyline, and he like fights with other wrestlers, even though he's like the head of it.
Yeah, Vince McMahon. Yeah.
Vince McMahon.
He
Yeah.
was pretty beefy.
And he was
then,
against like Triple H marrying his daughter or something like that. That was one of the stories.
And they're actually married too.
And they're really married. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I wonder what he thought of that.
I think probably behind the scenes he was pretty okay with it, but like we should make a story out of this.
I just remember he had a decent theme song, like when he walked out, the entrance song.
Yeah, the game.
But in wrestling, Japan is actually taking it pretty seriously too. Have you ever seen Japanese? It's like basically
It's
like
like
WWE.
Mexican, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But it's like WWE basically. It's like the whole like extreme storylines and people having drama and stuff. But they're all Japanese people, so it's pretty much similar. It's very big there.
Well, I was thinking it's more like the Mexican, like the luchador stuff, because they're more visual. Like there's a lot of aerial moves and stuff like that, rather than the American powerhouses where they're just all
They
like.
don't have the drama there, do they?
They
They
must.
start roasting each other on the mic, and then
'Cause
some guy runs in with a chair and then hits the other guy.
Because like there's a long story for Undertaker, right?
Well, Undertaker, is he even retired yet?
He's still fighting, I think. He's been in and out.
Dude's like what, 60 or 70 years old?
He's 70, yeah. His medical bill must be off the charts.
Yeah, he should just die on stage. He's gonna die in the ring.
People
Possible,
have. Younger people have died on stage. But I think that's why all his stuff now is just him being like a tank. He just takes all these hits and he just keeps coming back up. Like he does that stupid thing where he just like rises up like kind of like a zombie.
If he wasn't mortal, I bet his storyline would go on forever.
I think. Yeah, that's true.
Like he would be like the Batman.
He draws in the crowds.
He does,
Yeah.
and a lot of people love him for that.
Yeah.
He was my favorite growing up.
People will wonder why he's like. It's been 100 years and he's still performing.
He's like, he actually is the character. Like it's not a character for him. That's just him.
His character is an undead wizard, right? That was brought back to life
to wrestle.
I mean,
to wrestle.
his brother is Kane, and Kane's been replaced a couple
I
times.
think they dropped that storyline because after at some point,
aren't they still related though? You can't remove that, right?
They removed
It's
no, because
canon.
like Kane, the idea was he's supposed to be defigured from a fire, but then I saw in future WWE he no longer has a mask, and I'm like I couldn't recognize him.
Oh, that's.
And I feel like they kind of broke that storyline. They
Well,
just
maybe they just
stopped
don't
referring
bring it up anymore, but they can't just like retcon.
Well, Undertaker still seems to be from the undead because his signature move is like Michael Myers, right? Where he like raised from the dead after he gets knocked down.
Yeah,
and that's that.
And then he
fear.
choke slams people.
That's his signature move.
Yeah.
Well, he has a couple, but yeah, those two things are what he's known for.
Tombstone Power Driver.
Yeah. Actually, that's what I loved about WWE. Everyone had a special.
I don't think they could do that move anymore. It's like the DDT. They couldn't do that anymore because it's like caused too many neck problems or something. Because you're dropping the dude on his head.
Like the leg things.
No, DDT is when you grab their head in your arm and you drop back.
What's Bret Hart's thing then?
I don't remember.
What's his special move or signature
Bret
move?
Hart hasn't been a thing for a very long time. Most of the stuff we're talking about hasn't been a thing for a very long time. But
I guess
I
we
haven't
don't really
remembered.
remember them.
Old wrestling. Not even a mention of John Cena.
I didn't watch when he was a big thing.
I just know John Cena has very good Mandarin.
No, he's not.
All I
Is
know
that
is
good?
you
Yeah,
can't
it's
see him.
Like he was promoting Transformer in China.
Yeah, well, he speak Mandarin.
Well, I-
Six
I-
Mandarin, yeah.
I just know he does like a lot of those charity things, like those Make-A-Wish Foundation crap,
Yeah.
and not crap. I shouldn't say that. He does a lot of that stuff.
Doesn't just disparage Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Well,
on the
you know, one day when I need to make a wish, then we'll see.
Just don't wish
The
for
Make-A-Wish
Disneyland.
guy just spit in your face. Like, you got your wish. Your wish is true. Your wish has come true, Jason.
So I'm noticing.
Wait, just one more thing about that, the whole Japanese wrestling thing.
Right.
So do they have like chick fights as well?
They
That's a
better.
good question. I didn't follow it.
We'll have
that
to do
much.
research.
That's the only part I'd be interested in.
Well, yeah, now that women.
They don't have
are-
like the big butch chicks. Like China back then. Remember her?
Yes.
Holy.
Oh, she's gross. But and she had like such a soft voice too.
Yeah.
Was her
Butcher
voice
she-
soft?
It was weird.
Yeah. She
Really?
I only remember because she was on Third Rock from the Sun,
Yeah.
and she had like a bunch of lines and stuff in that because she was like Harry's girlfriend or whatever, and she was on a few times.
Did that show had a conclusion, or did it just went off the air?
No, it finished.
It finished?
Yeah, they went back to space or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it satisfied?
Well, as good as it can get for a type of show like that.
We
like
all
that
need satisfied endings.
kind
now.
of weakish comedy show.
Well, when Game of Thrones ended.
We're still one episode away from that disaster.
But a bigger show ended was Big Bang Theory, right? I don't know if
Oh,
we talked
did
about
it?
that one.
I
Yeah,
don't care about
it
it.
ended around the same time.
Never really liked that show.
It had more viewers than
Yeah, I
Game of
know.
Thrones.
Well, it was like the biggest comedy for like years.
for years. Yeah, I think it's like 10 seasons long.
Wow.
They're all getting paid millions of dollars.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw-
for sure.
episode.
I think I stopped watching after the first season. So.
Yeah, I stopped watching I think when Sheldon was about to get married, I stopped watching that season.
I didn't even watch when he was in a relationship.
Oh, so yeah, you're really far behind.
I know of it, but I never really watched it.
It's about the same thing. Really, characters never revolve much in that show.
Was that ending good? Did people like that ending? Or was it like a Game of Thrones ending?
I mean, it's a
It's
sitcom.
Benioff
It's really they didn't build up that much,
Oh, I
right?
see.
There was no build
It's
up in
easier
that show.
to
Yeah.
subvert expectations.
Yeah, there was nothing. The only thing they subvert was like Amy changed her hair because she had this like really straight, nerdy hair.
Right, so you read the spoilers for the ending then, right?
Or did you watch it?
The
Or is it even
Big Bang Theory?
happened?
Yeah, Big Bang.
Well, I followed the actress for Amy on YouTube.
So you don't know what
so I-
happens at the end?
Well, she mentioned on her YouTube channel, so I just watched what she said.
So it has it aired yet? It
Yeah,
has, right?
It has aired. It has aired.
So you don't know the whole story in the final episode?
I know they got married and that's about it really. And
Who got married?
Sheldon and Amy, they were the last couple.
That was the last episode that they got married.
Close to it. I think they also moved or something like that. I think that's the last episode.
Okay. I see.
Like they moved out of the apartment.
Probably will never watch it, but
Yeah, I probably won't.
Yeah, it's not worth watching really. If anything, the funny part is when they're at those Comic-Con events and they get a lot of children's asking them questions and they're always a little concerned because their show is not like G rated, right? It's more like a teen rated.
You mean in real life, not in the show?
Yeah, in real life.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're always concerned like why all these kids are asking them questions during
It
these
would
like
be weird.
these
but-
Comic-Con events.
They should probably expect it by now, though. I mean, they're like the biggest comedy, and kids are just watching everything. So
Yeah, you're right.
how would you respond if kids wanted to ask you about our show?
I'd be surprised we have listeners.
I would not do good at all.
I'd be surprised. I'm like, wow, kids are that engaged in
I'd say
politics
I
and
would-
science.
If
Science and politics.
Yeah, that's our main draw for this show.
Yeah, the one kid that's like, I wanted to hear more from that guy that talked about pie.
Oh, man.
Revolution of
He's
Tao.
my hero.
I would-
And he meets you in person and it's just complete disappointment.
But if an adult approached me and asked about the podcast, I would be just as thrown off. Be like,
Why?
you listen to that?
He just wants to touch you.
Why? How would they even know it's me? They don't know what I look
hear
like.
That voice. They hear that voice from across like the
Yeah,
bar
you're
or
like
something.
ordering at the drive-through,
Yeah,
and then
it's
you're
like,
like,
I know that voice.
"Is that
That's a
Jason
certain
from
level of
Verbal
fame.
Laxative?"
That's like bigger than some actual celebrities.
It's like I'm listening to you right now at work.
Why?
You're a stalker. Oh my god. I hope you had I wish you have a stalker.
If I have one, you would have one at least too.
No, I am too crass.
You're too crass.
Yeah, I'm too crass.
Well, you are crass.
Yeah, there you
Brandon.
go. So the stalker will go after you.
You don't know what people like. What if
They
they
like-
like that way more?
Okay, whatever. Sure.
Yeah.
So
You're dissing all your fans.
I am preventing myself from having stalkers. That's what I'm doing. This is proactive defense.
So you don't want to be popular? Is that what you're trying to say?
Precisely.
Okay.
Uh,
I don't get what we're doing.
and
Sorry. Speaking of which, this at this point we're actually past 1 year.
oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this would be
we should have celebrated.
this is a special anniversary. Sort of not really recording.
Yeah, not really.
Oh, we gotta wait for a plan to combat.
Sure,
Yeah,
maybe
that
that'll
would be an
the next-
idea,
hey,
We
but
could do it then.
Scrap that idea. This is just another episode. Next
We'll
one
just
will be
release
the-
this in the past. And
Next
no
one will be the
know.
it has
anniversary
been in
one.
the past anyways. It was
Yeah.
in May. But
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Alright, what are you saying though?
So I was gonna ask, has anyone tried the Beyond Meat?
Yes,
fad?
we did.
Yes.
Yes, we did. We tried the Beyond Meat
We
burger.
tried it from A&W. Now Beyond Meat is
In
in
Tim
other
Hortons?
rest. Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't try it at Tim Hortons because their eggs aren't even real, so I'm not even gonna try their not real meat.
Well, now you have all fake.
Yeah, I can't wait
Meat
for their
products.
Beyond
Fake
bread. as well.
eggs and fake meat.
Fake
and then
eggs, fake
now
meat,
the fake muffins.
fake everything.
But like, have you guys looked at the nutritional value?
It's
No,
apparently
I don't care
not that
about that for
different
anything.
from like in fat. It's not that different from the actual burger itself and all that.
Well, that's actually what got me interested because I went to the website and I took a bunch of pictures of the 3 burgers. So I looked at Team Burger, Beyond Meat Burger, and their vegetarian burger.
Yeah.
And what I found was fairly interesting. So basically, the thing I found that was interesting is that the veggie burger has the most calories, fat, and salt
Oh.
compared to the Teen and Beyond. Beyond is second, and then Teen is actually the
Oh,
least
that's
in
good.
calories, fat,
That's
and salt.
somehow I like the healthiest burger of those 3. Teen Burger is good though. It has bacon.
Yeah,
in
Teen
it.
is great.
I
So,
like the Team Burger, yeah.
so I guess one of my question is like, when you think of Beyond Meat, I would assume that you think you're eating something healthier, but you're not.
That's the assumption.
Nah, I don't
Eating
care.
veggies, you're eating healthier, but when they make these processed veggie, vegan, whatever kinds of meats or burgers, they try to make it taste. They try to make it taste as good as like actual meat, so
Mhm.
they just stuff it full of shit.
And they do a good job because I do like the Beyond Meat.
The Beyond,
it
yeah,
tastes
it's
really
If you
good.
if you put them on a table, don't let anybody know which is which, and they eat it, you will not be able to tell. At least for the burgers.
I just say like don't even tell them one of them is like
Yeah,
non-meat.
you wouldn't be able
Yeah.
to tell.
Yeah, you wouldn't. You'd be like, oh, this tastes different, but it
Yeah,
tastes good.
just tell
The
them
sausages,
afterwards.
you could tell a little bit more. Which is the meat one, which is the Beyond Meat sausage, like the breakfast sandwich from A&W. Cause I don't know, we did try it. Me and Jason did try it, and yeah, there's a definite difference. We actually like the
Beyond
you
Meat
like the
tastes
Beyond,
better.
yeah.
So then, I
But
guess
the burger, like Team Burger and Beyond Meat Burger, very very hard to tell.
I still think. Would you order a Team Burger or a Beyond Meat Burger?
I would get a Team Burger just because I just want to eat the meat, right?
And it's easier to order.
Yeah, but if
Easier
someone,
to order. I mean, same thing.
if
No,
someone
it's
gave
just
me-
the word teen burger
yeah,
is rolls
if
off the
someone
tongue way
gave me
easier
a,
than.
someone gave me
Oh, I
a
guess, yeah.
Beyond Meat Burger, I wouldn't mind. I'll eat it too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd eat them both.
If they were the
don't-
same price, you would.
I don't care.
You wouldn't choose.
I don't look
No.
at any nutrition value of anything.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I guess you're in A&W. You're like, well, I'm already getting fat now, so
Well, even
doesn't
like
really matter at this point.
it's like Zinzin when he was trying to lose some weight before, like just shed a few pounds. He was
Trying to. I still
looking at
am just
calories.
unsuccessful.
and I'm just like I don't even know how much calories is in an average like burger or anything.
500.
Well, that means nothing to me.
Teen and Beyond Meat is 500.
I'm like, how is that compared to like a steak? I don't really know. I wouldn't know. You could tell me 500's in a steak. I'm
Well,
like, okay,
I can tell you that
Steak has 1 calorie, Jason.
okay, that's cool.
generally when people look at
Makes no
calories,
difference.
they look at calories burned at the gym, and they're always really sad when they look at their treadmill and they only burn like 20
Oh,
calories.
good. I don't
or
work out
50
either.
calories.
I eat whatever I want and I don't work out.
Yeah, so like you can say bust your ass one full day of gym workout, one burger would destroy all of that.
Yeah, 500.
That's
That's
why-
That's like an hour on the treadmill. At
Yeah,
the gym.
like you could spend an hour on the treadmill, that equates to a burger, and
No, even he had to spend more than an hour at the treadmill. Like, basically, you work out for half an hour. That's like a can of pop right there. It's like 100 something calories.
well, can of pop is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The amount of
I'm
like
drinking a bottle of pop right now.
no shame here.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna die.
But yeah,
fairly
anyways,
soon.
I thought that was interesting. When you look at the nutritional value, you're like, oh, these burgers aren't healthy at all. It's actually better to get the Team Burger.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Brian.
If you're
but,
thinking
but
more
for people,
health
well,
conscious.
for some people out there, they're just looking for like, oh, I don't want to eat meat anymore, like for animal crap.
I think for sustainability, it's fantastic because
Yes, that too.
meat is really expensive to create,
Yeah.
both in resources and
Yeah,
also
ranches
polluting
and
our earth. So
Yes. cow
having more
parts.
plant is great.
Yeah, having more Beyond Meat burgers that taste like real meat is great. I want test tube meat. I don't care. I'll eat
Yeah, I
it.
don't care either.
Well, there's the
If
idea of
you-
lab grown meat.
One
down
day
the
when you
road.
want to go to space or whatever, you're gonna have to eat that kind of meat anyways. You better get used to it now.
Or
Better
have
make it
space
tasty
cows.
now. Yeah, space cows.
Yeah.
There's another brand called Impossible Meat. I haven't had that one, but
I haven't
they said
heard of
that one's really good
It's just
too.
made out of rubber. I don't know. I've never heard of it.
It's like a competitor of Beyond
Don't
Meat.
take what I say. Yeah, this is the beginning of the Coke and Pepsi rivalry. The Impossible Meat and the Beyond Meat.
The Beyond Meat, yeah.
Mhm.
Which
Yeah.
one does Barks fall under? Because
Barks is Coke.
Okay, I'm back in Coke.
Because I think Mug's root beer is Pepsi.
Oh, that's pretty good too, though.
Maybe.
Actually,
I think
I
that
like
one's a
Coke
little
better
bit
than
sweeter.
Pepsi, anyways. Whatever, I don't care. Give me Coke over Pepsi.
7-Up or Sprite?
Sprite.
Sprite. I think they're in the screen. I can't tell the difference between those two.
No.
It's hard.
You still and then Canada Dry versus Schweppes.
Canada Dry.
Canada Dry for sure.
Yeah. Oh, you can tell the difference in Schweppes and Canada Dry.
I think I could tell the
Absolutely.
difference between those two. Yeah.
More so than Sprite and 7-Up.
More so than Sprite and 7-Up.
Wow.
We need a taste test.
Yeah, like they
Do
did
it
a
on the-
Coca-Cola challenge. That one's easy, but
It
like,
is
the
easy.
other ones, that would be a challenge. Like Bark and Mugs is very different.
It is.
Though, does Bark still have that? Do they still promote the Bark's
Barks has bite.
Yeah.
The bottle says crafted soda. Okay, it doesn't say it doesn't have a slogan on it.
Does it still have that bite? Like, does it still have that?
With
like-
cane sugar. That's all it says. 100% natural flavors. No slogan or tagline, whatever.
I'm surprised. I wonder
Yeah.
where that went because that was a good slogan when it first launched.
Yeah, they used to have the dog mascot thing, and now I don't even see that on here.
All right.
All right, let's talk about
What a long
recent
intro.
events.
That was like 16 minutes worth of intro. All right. So Jason, you want to talk about E3?
Oh yeah, actually, I wanted to talk about my pant. It keeps seeming like
Pants?
I'm touching my balls,
You are
but
touching your balls right now.
oh, I
kinda
kind of
wondering-
am, but it's because there's a hole developing here in these jeans,
You have
and I'm gonna
crotchless
have
jeans.
yeah, there's gonna be a hole right here. It's
Same.
already like I could put a finger through
What
it
a
right
pervert.
now. Yeah, okay.
So, are you gonna patch it or do you?
No,
No,
he's gonna
these
keep it
are done.
crotchless.
Oh, okay.
Get fucked through the jeans.
No, okay.
Conceal
Yeah,
that
E3.
weapon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
let's
we're
go
gonna talk
E3
about.
now. Holy shit.
What's
Yes.
what's notable about E3?
It was a pretty low key year this time. Sony didn't
Sony
have.
left.
Yeah. So well for this year, they said they were gonna come back next year. It might just be another. They usually have an experience kind of thing. It's like a direct, like Nintendo does directs, where it's like pre-recorded kind of stuff.
Didn't they do this before when they pulled out?
No.
No, this time
before,
they
no.
didn't have anything at all.
Uh-huh.
They sometimes have their like own presentation thing around this time, but this
Mm.
time they're just opting out altogether.
Do you think other companies should just pull out and just?
What's the point?
Well,
Having E3?
Yeah, what's the point of having E3? Is the idea?
well, E3 is good for like smaller companies too, if like indie companies and stuff to get their games
Because
up
like
there.
Activision had an issue because E3 and BlizzCon, it was like too short of a time for them to have
Yeah.
announcements,
But-
and that they were competing against competing announcements kind of thing, right? They don't have enough development time.
It's also good to because this is around the time that games and like let's just be electronics in general have all their announcements. So even if like the big companies like Sony and Microsoft were to decide to pull out of it, I think they'd still have an E3 just so they have press releases for everything upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't be a 3D event. Probably be like a 1 day.
Well, I think they'd still try to book the whole thing, but even Microsoft has said, I think on their Twitter or something, that they wish that Sony had a presentation because they even said like it wasn't as good without them.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
Yeah, Microsoft, they did quickly announce that their new system that's coming out, again, no date or anything. They just gave it a project name. I forgot what it was, but
Project X, maybe? Scorpion?
it was
The new
something-
Xbox,
Yeah,
or is
Scorpion,
this
I
gonna be-
think.
Yeah, I think it's a new Xbox because PlayStation 5, there are rumors about it coming out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, PlayStation 5 has a bunch of rumors so far. They didn't have any official announcements, but you see, like, on Twitter and stuff, people taking videos of their speed comparisons for the PlayStation 5 using an SSD drive and versus the PS4. And they were just showing, in one of the videos, was comparing loading times and stuff for Spider-Man. and it's like, oh, in the PS4 it was like 14 seconds to load this, but in the PS5 you see like less than a second, and it's amazing. So it's like they're
seamless then.
Yeah, it seemed like their goal was basically get rid of load times altogether.
I do think load times kind of do take you out of that immerse feeling.
Yeah, especially if it is like something more intense where you don't want to have a break from the action or something like that.
Oh, for sure. And the transition from gameplay to cinematics. If you could if you could blur those lines and people don't even realize that, oh, I can move my character now.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like an open world game, and then if you can get rid of load times going anywhere, just you can literally just immerse yourself in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you could feel like, oh, I'm really in GTA.
They kind of showed that too. They showed when like just going through New York in like Spider-Man, for example. They're showing the PS4 where you don't get to see like everything. You kind of see like I don't know if motion blur is the right term for it, but then they showed the PS5 and it's just like super crisp, and it's like you're actually going through a city, like you're driving down the street. And yeah, so hopefully they actually have news on it by next year or something, because it'd be nice to have something that fancy. And they're all going like 8K.
Well, the other thing too is games needs to be developed for it, right?
Yeah.
So even if they have the system ready, they can't launch it without a game to go with it.
Yeah, so that's a problem with like a bunch of consoles. Like, I don't get the PS4 or whatever. Like when it first comes out, I wait till there's actually games for it. So that could take a long time for some. I think it's like it took me months to get the PS3, PS4, because there's nothing for it when it came out.
Yeah, I think when the Switch launched, it launched with Zelda, and that's a smart move.
Yeah, that was
like
huge.
if Zelda or say like Smash Brother weren't coming up for it, people wouldn't have bought the Switch.
No, they had a bunch of good
One of the
games.
main
They had
reasons.
that. They had Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart, I think was
Mario
one.
Odyssey.
Yeah, so they did great. And speaking of Zelda, though, they announced that there's a sequel in the works.
Oh, to
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was their huge news. Other than like they have more characters for Smash Bros coming out, including Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie looks sweet.
Yeah.
Actually,
When they first showed it, I just thought they were gonna come out with a new Banjo-Kazooie game, which
Yeah.
I would have been hyped for, but it was just a character in Smash.
You're so disappointed.
well, who owns
It
that?
kinda.
Who owns Banjo-Kazooie? Because it used to be from Rare, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure who owns it.
Because I don't know if Nintendo can make a Banjo-Kazooie game. It's not their IP.
Yeah, well, whatever company owns it could make one, I guess. I don't know.
I
don't know the
business for a
details.
reason. But Animal Crossing. Did you
Yes.
see that?
Yes. Super
March
hyped.
2020.
Oh man,
It's gonna be
you're
exciting.
Really, you're so excited.
You can.
I actually did really. I played the
You're so
game
happy.
a lot on GameCube.
You can build a tent. You can pole vault over rivers. It's exciting.
Never
And
played
they have
it.
a.
I'm missing out on.
It's like a Farmville.
Okay, I
Except
see.
Yeah.
More so. Well, actually, you can farm in it now too.
Yeah, you can farm it now too. It's a very cutesy game, you know.
Oh, I see.
Remember like Villager?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Animal Crossing, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and so is Isabella. So
Ah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Unfortunate that I don't really have any of the additional characters for Smash Bros. Like I missed out on the Piranha Plant. I don't have like
Oh.
Joker or anything like that.
Yeah,
So-
I didn't get him either. His DLCs. What are you
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
don't have the
they're-
fighter pack or anything.
I don't know if they're necessary. You
Well,
can
they're
still be
not.
competitive.
There's still tons of characters, but I mean, it'd be nice to have.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you have like the collector's mindset where you want everything. But
It's a tough mindset, yeah.
I just
Alright.
don't want to put money into individual characters. Going back to the news, Keanu Reeves, you probably saw, made an appearance
Oh,
for
that guy-
Cyberpunk.
I love that meme for that one where they were showing like Keanu Reeves from like 1980s to like 2077, which is the video game one.
Oh yeah,
With the
yeah.
bionic arm, and I was just like, that's amazing.
Well, they showed like a comparison from The Matrix, the game, compared to this game for his character
Oh, I
for like
forgot they
Neo,
did
and
that.
and
Matrix
just
game.
like, oh man, it's huge strides in technology.
That game was scary when Agent Smith just like came out of nowhere because he would always kill you. Like you couldn't fight him.
I never played that game. That was an online game, right?
It was it was a PC game, but yeah,
Yeah.
I just remember seeing my friend play it, and every time Agent Smith appears, you just have to book it.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Well, that's like what happened in the movie, right? You can
Yeah.
fight the agents.
And then you'd wake up in a cold sweat.
They Did
But
you,
yeah,
you
Keanu
get caught and they
Reeves-
put that scorpion thing in your belly button. That was creepy when I.
Yeah.
Back when I watched the first Matrix.
And when they
as a
suck it
kid.
out, and he thought it was like, oh, that
Yeah.
thing is real, kind of thing. Yeah.
You have to like pull it out.
That was a really cool movie because for the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you had no idea what was going on, right?
Yeah.
This guy working at the office and he's getting strange phone calls and he's like living two lives. You couldn't tell what was real, what was not.
Yeah.
And I think that was the whole idea.
I just remember seeing the scene where he's like, when he talks to Morpheus, and then he's like touching the mirror, and it like kind of absorbs him.
Observes him, yeah. And
It was
then
like back then, you know, now it's like looks terrible graphics, but back then I was just like, God damn, I'm not gonna touch any mirrors ever.
Actually, I was looking at a channel and they do VFX, and they were talking about the bullet time scene. You know, when Neo did the dodge, and how they did that, and so basically everything in the background was digital. Like that wasn't like they weren't outside doing that. That was all green screen.
Right.
And so what they did is they had cameras 360 around Keanu Reeves, and and then each of the camera took one of the frames, and that's how they spun around.
Oh yeah.
And they slightly delayed it, and that's how they made it look like it was slow motion.
Oh.
And then they just recreate the background with the green screen.
Yeah, I think that's like super creative, especially back in those times.
Yeah,
where it's
back
like
in those times.
no other no
Like
other
now you
movies
could probably
tried
do
that.
it. Now you can do it with ease. But like back in those times, without the technology, they had to
You
create.
could just have that scene in like a rom-com nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
They overkilled that. They use that in like so many things, like in games and stuff, and in other movies.
Well, yeah,
like
because
parodies of it.
everyone started doing that for a while. The
Yeah.
bullet time, that's what they called it.
Yeah.
And it was really overused.
It was
at some point.
Going back to E3 because there's a
Yes,
lull in
continue.
that.
Our E3 gaming correspondent.
They showed the new Star Wars game, a bit of gameplay slash
They were-
cinematics. Was there?
I heard they
gameplay?
were comparing it to like Bloodborne or Dark Souls.
Which I guess what is that word to describe? Which timeline in Star Wars is this gonna
It's
take
like
place?
before Rogue One, right?
I think it's supposed to be around that time. Around there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's around
Yeah.
Rogue One's time.
It's like a third person kind of game. You play as like a Jedi like dude, and they showed a battle scene with like a non Jedi thing, and I didn't know how that. It's like it
A
seems
Jedi
underwhelming in a way.
Non-Jedi.
No, I don't know. He's like a stupid, but better than a stormtrooper guy. Anyways,
That's
it just
his
felt.
official title. Not a Jedi, but better than Stormtrooper.
I don't know what they're called. Anyways,
What a great rank.
it just seems underpowering how you're slashing through even like stormtroopers and stuff, but it sometimes takes more than one hit to kill them, which I'm like, that would have cut him in half, but it's like he's still standing and shooting at you.
That plastic armor is really strong.
I heard
Even
they
when it
can't be
looks
that
like cut
violent
through.
though in Star Wars. They have to keep the violence down.
But even so, just make them die in one hit. Make it a numbers game. Make it like a Dynasty Warriors
That's
game.
why they like they could showcase their more violent moves when it was like up against like droids, right? Like robots and droids. Then you like fucking behead them and everything. But they're not gonna show them like beheading like stormtroopers and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
make them
usually
fight
they
more
don't.
robots. Robots, at least it's understandable. Like you cut off a limb and it still keeps going.
Yeah, they'll
rather
still
than...
do that, but they're not gonna show you maiming like a stormtrooper. That's why.
They really should.
Rated R Star Wars.
I'd play it.
It'll be the movie. It'll be the sex scene in it as well.
I'd still play it, even more so.
Please wear your crotchless jeans when you play it.
No, these are gonna be thrown out basically when I get home.
When he says thrown out, it means he's gonna use it for his next date.
I'm gonna throw it out.
Throw out
You,
the.
you could patch it. I heard.
But
Have
it's a
this
patch
patch
in
on
the
the crotch.
crotch. No, I'm gonna throw it out.
What happened there? Oh yes, I made a crotchless for a while, and I had to patch it up. I had to be a little bit more conservative after that.
So they showed Final Fantasy VII, the remake footage of that, and looks super awesome.
I love the voice
Still
acting.
gonna be broken up into parts.
What do you
And
mean by like 3 CDs? Like what do you
Well,
mean by-
Imagine.
It won't be like the.
Please insert disc two.
It's gonna be full on different. Like part 1, part 2 is gonna be completely different. They're splitting up the original game into different parts. So the first one's gonna come
Wait, you
out.
have to buy 3 games? I don't understand.
They're gonna come out like probably years apart or whatever.
Oh shit! You're gonna buy the game.
So you're literally it is 3 CDs then.
Essentially, by the end of it.
Oh my god,
that's retarded.
These greedy motherfuckers.
Because like the first CD was majority of the game, I felt. Because that
took
you up to
it took you up to
Ares.
Yes,
Ares and Sephiroth.
Yes.
Spoilers ahead.
For a game that was how old is it now? Like 20 years? No. I don't want to make a guess. I'm gonna look like an idiot.
About spoilers anymore.
Well, especially okay.
Just like that free folk subreddit.
Oh yes, right.
No spoilers at all. Just ruin everything.
Well, I feel
Give
like
a spoiler alert for Final Fantasy VII.
If anyone didn't know, Ares die.
What?
Yeah, it's just in case the spoiler wasn't clear enough.
What?
But still gotta level her up, man. Just get her a limit breaker. Just like, oh my god.
Well, she was the healer.
She was the healer, and there's no other healer that came in your party.
Yeah, get shit on if you invested all your fucking time in there.
I didn't see that coming. Use a Phoenix down, goddammit. Like, nope.
No, you just gotta let her bury her at sea, right?
If you die in a cutscene, you die in real life.
She had to die. It was very important to the story.
It did make it more intense that you're like, oh man, my character or a character that I was playing with actually died.
Yeah.
I can't use her anymore.
Because you also had choices of Cloud who to spend your date with, like Ares or Tifa.
Oh yeah. Yeah, love interest.
Tifa looks good in the new game.
She does.
That's why you have the crotchless.
She does.
Yeah, that's why I prepared it.
And she's also fully voiced, so which is even.
Well,
great.
they all are, aren't they?
They all are, yeah. Oh, how do you feel about Barrett? Do you think he was how you imagine him to sound?
I think he sounds fine. I remember in the game they always made him swear, but they put just like the symbols.
Yeah.
So I was kind of hoping they'll have him
like
use a lot of profanity.
With the way he sounds.
Is he too black for you?
A little bit.
Oh my god! I can't wait for Al Sharpton to listen to this podcast. Oh my god!
But you like The Wire.
Oh,
I do like The Wire, yeah.
Jesse Jackson's coming for you, man. Oh, you're done. You're done.
But I guess in the last Final Fantasy with voice acting, they made the black guy was a comedian, right? Final Fantasy 13 was.
Which one was 13?
Lightning, the girl with the pink hair.
Oh, that game sucked. Was there a black guy in it?
There was a black guy in it. Yeah, he was more of a comedian character.
Okay.
It was.
I almost beat that game. I remember, but it was just so boring. Like you didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
The gameplay was horrible.
And they made like 3 other games after that too.
Yeah, I didn't play those.
There's so many. And then Louis Vuitton was trying to sell bags with the main character, Lightning.
Is that why they're doing a remaster of Final Fantasy VII? Because they can't make a
It's a remake.
Well, they made
remake of 7.
Sorry,
Remaster's 8.
Remaster. Okay, I see.
Well, before that, they made 15. That was the most recent one, which was also named 13 Revenge or something. Or
they named it that? I only know it was like 15.
No, they renamed it. It used to be like Versus 13 or something like that. It had a.
I thought that was just going to be a different game altogether, and then that just never happened.
Yeah, 15 had a really weird story where it's like another project that turned into 15 kind of thing.
15 was really kind of confusing.
Yeah.
I find all the games kind of confusing.
Yes, they are. That's true.
That's fair.
It was kind of upsetting, though, in 15, how you just have that set party from when you start the game to all the way through the game, you have that same party.
It was known as the Bros.
Yeah, that's fine, but I want like a girl character, at least.
He needs one.
I need eye candy. And it was stupid. The freaking flying car that you could get at towards the end of the game. First time I used it, just took off and then I just hit a lamppost and just crashed and died. Like, god damn it! I'm just here trying to learn the controls and at least give me a clear freaking launch site or something.
Yeah.
I'll go back to E3. Only a few more things.
They showed the new Microsoft Flight Simulator, right?
They showed a bit of that from what I remember.
I heard that's legit. Like you could actually fly a real plane if
No shit, that's what you could do in Flight Simulator.
Was that the guy who
simulates flight?
I think the guy who jacked Boeing, he mentioned that's how you learn to fly.
Which guy that jacked which Boeing?
The guy who like stole a plane and then he was flying and then he said he had some mental illness or something and he was talking to the tower and the tower tried to like teach him how to land and he was like, nah, I'm just gonna kill myself. And he just flew and crashed.
What?
So...
How did he do this? Was he on a flight and just hijacked it, or did
No. He stole a plane by himself. Like no one. There was no one on the plane. It was the only casualty was himself.
It's a small plane.
No, I thought it was a big plane.
It was a big plane.
Yeah, but like he was talking to air control and stuff and.
Let's find this because I'm pretty sure you need a lot to happen to get a big plane ready.
This was a while back, but
I'm pretty
I'll
sure
look
it's
it
like
up.
a small plane, maybe like a.
But continue on, Jason,
Cessna
while I
or
look
some
up.
shit like that.
Yeah, only a few other things. They showed off another Marvel game, the Avengers game, I should say.
The A-Team.
Yes.
A-Day.
Yeah.
A-Day.
It's kind of, I don't know. A lot of people have issues with it because the characters look like huge. Like they look huge, like bigger than they should be. And the graphics apparently they don't look that great either in people's opinion. I don't know. It might look different in the final game, but that's what people had issues with. Otherwise, it looks like it might be fun. And other than that, there was, I don't know, smaller stuff that I don't care as much about. Like, Watch Dogs has a new game coming out. Dying Light has a new game coming out. And Outer Worlds looks good. They're the team that made the like Fallout New Vegas and stuff. And then when they got kicked off Fallout, they made their game, and that's the one that's going to be coming out. And set in space, looks cool, looks better than Fallout, but we'll see.
Well, Death Stranding, was that on E3?
Not really, because that would have been like a Sony thing, I think.
Oh, okay.
But they did show more of that beforehand. I forgot what it was.
A lot of people, I don't know, have you seen the trailer for Death Stranding?
Yeah.
A lot of people were like really excited for the ladder. Everyone that I asked about, they were like, "Oh man, that ladder is amazing."
I didn't care. Well, the good thing about the ladder, I guess, is just it shows that you could go anywhere really, because the ladder extends.
Do you know anything about Death Stranding?
Yeah, I just know that guy is in it.
Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
Norman Reedus, and they also put Hannibal in it now. Mads
Mikkelsen.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And it's Kojima making.
It's a Kojima game, and then babies seem to be like batteries. Like these people wear suits and they have a baby inside, and then
the gameplay is like a third person.
It's a third person, and it looks like you're an Amazon employee. You're trying to deliver something.
Pretty much.
And you get chased by people with batons, and then at some point you have a gun, and you're like in the past shooting like remnants.
They're gonna keep it real. They're gonna keep it real mysterious for you. Turns out it's exactly like that. Like that's the story. Like you work for Amazon, you're trying to deliver a package, and shit just blows up. Shit just hits the fan.
Trying to deliver a freaking baby.
Well, from the makers of Metal Gear Solid, right?
And then the twist at the end is like, oh, this guy took a lot of drugs before his shift started.
Okay, talking about that airplane. It was a guy who stole an Alaska airline plane, and then they crashed into
What's
Seattle.
the plane?
I didn't see.
That was the most important part.
Yeah, we're seeing how big the plane was.
All right, let me check what Alaskan.
Okay, while you do that.
Please wait while we experience technical difficulties.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we'll just make this a blank pause then.
Just
I was
kidding,
gonna talk more.
What are you gonna say?
More about the game, but now I don't know the specifics I was gonna bring into it. I don't know. They had it's like stuff where you can't, if you die in the game, it's not like game over. You go into like this other world kind of thing, and you have to like basically fight to go back alive or something like that. I don't know. It's weird. There's so many weird aspects to it. It's a freaking Kojima game mixed with Del Toro is also with it. So.
Yeah, he has a lot of friends in Hollywood. Del Toro is even a character in the game.
Yeah.
And they have like
Kojima was in a game in one of the Metal Gear games.
Yeah.
It's just like a special like cameo.
Because like in that
character.
trailer for Death Stranding, when they started showing the character's name, like Reedus as Sam and etc. etc.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they started doing like Mega Man. It was like Heartman.
Yeah.
Die Heartman, and you're just like, this is really weird.
It was, but it's like you could expect that from Kojima. But...
Did he make a Mega Man game?
Well, no, it's just more so how some of his characters are named stupid stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you ever played Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yes, I have.
and there are like all these weird tricks of like killing bosses, because like they're sometimes really
Yes, I
hard, but if
remember.
you know like stupid tricks, you
No,
can do
no,
it.
no. Yeah, I'm.
Like, because there was one is like
Psycho Mantis, you gotta plug your controller into the second slot.
yeah, if you plug in the second slot, apparently he can't read your controls, and he's super easy.
Yeah, and
There's
then-
one if you change your clock time,
I remember.
the character ages, and then you could just kill them with old age.
I remember he read your memory card too, or something like
Mhm.
that. Then he say like, "Oh, you've been playing this game." Like,
By far, the easiest boss to ever kill in Metal Gear was Decoy Octopus. If you remember, he dies before you even fight him. He's dead in Metal Gear Solid 1.
And some of them you can like snipe during the cutscene, so then you don't have to
Oh,
fight them
yeah,
later.
yeah.
You like just shoot them. Okay, the plane was a 76-seat Horizon Air turbo prop plane.
Yeah, turboprop. Okay,
Yeah.
pretty small.
so
But
not
anyways,
huge.
he was flying it, and then he was talking to Seattle's air traffic control, and he was just saying like how sorry he is for causing so much trouble with people. Like, he was a very nice person, and then air traffic control was trying to calm down and trying to get him to land the plane, and then at the last moment he just decided, no, I'm just gonna fly until we run out of fuel and crash.
Okay, interesting choice.
Yeah, that's what he did.
So, Flight Simulator taught him how to take off then.
Yeah, he I think the air traffic was asking him like, oh, how do you know how to fly? And he said
Microsoft
he
Flight.
played with Microsoft Flight Simulator.
It is kind of a fun game. I think I talked about this before. The thrill of flying from city to city.
Did you talk about this on podcast?
Did I?
I don't remember. I remember you talking to me about this, but I don't think it was on the podcast.
So, do you fly this on Kinect? Like, do you get that 3D feel, or do you?
It's
on
just
the
fun.
control?
It's like why does games like Trucking Simulator and Train Simulator exist?
Well, trucking is great because you could deliver stuff with your friends. It's all connected.
No, yeah. Well, Flight Simulator is like you can fly from like LAX to like fucking Dallas, and you can see the whole thing, and it literally just you fly up.
I
Give
think the
your-
bigger question is
Give
like,
your announcement.
yeah.
Like, oh, I know we'll be cruising at 35,000 feet today, and the weather in Dallas will be, like fucking 47 or whatever. Whatever the fuck how they do Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And then you just put on autopilot and just sit back and enjoy.
I wonder if they enjoyed that, because it always pisses me off when they interrupt my movie during a flight just to tell me things that I already kind of knew.
The pilot?
Yeah, the pilot,
I
when he's
don't-
telling me
well,
things
when they
like the
interrupt
weather and the time.
Usually
the
that's
only-
like towards the end of the
Yeah,
flight.
it's everything's
they're
good.
landing.
It's towards the end of the flight, and he tells you we're landing. He has to do that. He's not trying to inconvenience you.
If they do that during the middle of the flight, it's more so like buckle your seatbelt or something.
Yeah,
Like,
some,
hold on
like,
to your shit.
Experiencing some turbulence here, and I don't know, some of them, like, I guess you could tell me the important stuff, but sometimes they try and make it lighthearted. They tell me a joke here and there, and just kind of takes away my movie time, you know.
They actually do that in your flights? I never heard that.
Well, depends on the airline, I suppose.
Like those, like, oh, if you look out to your left, you'll see the Grand Canyon. Like, that's never happened to me. I've never had it
Oh,
announcements
they've
like
had
that.
that. Yeah, I've experienced that before. But that's not any. That's like almost when you're taking off or when you're landing or like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
early in the
usually it.
flight or it's like late in the flight when you're closer to the ground.
Yeah.
Also, you look outside, it's all sky. But I don't know. Like, yeah, I get what you mean. Sometimes it gets interrupted, but it's not really the pilot. It might be the flight attendant as well. Like, every time they pick up that phone, it pauses all the screens, right?
Yeah, it does, exactly.
But like they have to do it. You know, they have to do it. It's like, oh, fuck if you're inconvenienced.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, you being inconvenienced is like probably top priority for me to actually. I love it when you're inconvenienced.
What was the last flight you've been on?
That's a good question. I purchased one for Vancouver, but that's in the future.
Okay.
Can't remember. What was the last flight I was on?
That barely even counts as a flight.
No,
It's
that's
so short.
It is very short, yeah.
Was it like 3 hours?
Less.
Whoa, no, it's 1
It's
hour.
1 hour.
Oh, is it?
If anything, it
I
feels
haven't
like
flown there for a while.
it feels like you're traveling back in time, because by the time you arrive in Vancouver, it's like the time you took
Ah,
off.
yes. Okay.
Time machine going to Vancouver and 2-hour flight.
Sometimes I feel like that in China too. Like, you fly back from China to
Yeah.
Canada,
Experience the day.
and then you
over.
realize, oh, time hasn't moved because it's the same day, same time.
Time has not moved. I have not aged. I flew backwards into time.
Like, I've lived this time.
Some guy just comes up with a brilliant plan. If I just keep on flying east, I will never age.
Until he reaches a point where he jumps like 2 days in the future.
Oh my god. That'd be great. Ironically, I can imagine a flat earther thinking something like that, but the paradox would be that would
It goes against
mean
his argument.
that the world would have to be round to him.
Unless they're flying in a circle.
His brain would
on the
404. All right, no, well, still, the flat Earth itself would not explain why he has to go back in time.
So, with a round Earth, we have a model called a globe. What is a flat Earth model called?
It's just a fucking
A map.
yeah, it's just a map. It's a disc. It's the disc.
It's just a disc.
You're
Well,
not-
some models have a dome because some flat earther believes that there's a dome.
Oh yeah.
That's a big controversy
So it's
within
like
the community.
Truman Show kind of thing.
We should go
Yeah,
back.
some believe it's like the
We
Truman
should
Show
talk
thing.
about flat earthers on the anniversary episode because I think that's what we talked about in the anniversary episode.
You know, the very first noise on the freaking first episode was you doing that stupid like that was the first
Okay.
sound on our first podcast.
Remind me, I'll start it off the next episode like that.
No, you really shouldn't.
Well, you shouldn't have a hole in your pants.
Well,
right
sorry,
at your
I'm
crotch.
poor.
Is there anything else on E3 you want to bring up?
Nah, not really. Those are the big ones.
Yeah.
There's an Apple one too. Before E3. Apple.
Apple.
Hey, you want to talk about the Apple one?
Yeah, I want to talk about Apple.
Go ahead.
So
That was their I/O thing, not
Yeah,
like
the
an E3.
iOS
Okay.
13. I'm excited because they're gonna introduce dark mode. which
Yes,
is fantastic.
finally. I
And
don't
they're
know.
also gonna add that keyboard where you can swipe.
Yeah,
and
I-
connect letters.
Why did it take them so long to do that? I've never had an Apple phone, so it's like it's mind blowing.
Yeah,
that
it's
these
crazy
features
that
they've
like
never had.
these technologies coming and everyone's like, oh, you didn't have that before? That's odd.
Yeah, like
They didn't
such a
showcase
typical
anything
thing.
new other than that, right?
Actually, one thing I thought that was interesting is their iPad. They're adding things like cut and paste and stuff, and
I
you
heard-
used like different fingers, the amount of fingers. So
Oh.
like so 2 fingers you can use for zooming, 1 fingers for edits, 3 fingers you could use for cut, 4 fingers you use to paste.
I heard for iPad, the iPad was like the best upgrade than anything else they announced.
Yeah, it's like a fully fledged computer almost. It's like functionality wise.
Wow.
yeah. So
But-
the iPad looks nice.
But it's an interesting idea because if you think of like language, right? Because and how that relates to computer is that so language is like a spectrum. So on one end you have what's called rigid language. So that's things like math, formal logic, and computer code, which is like it has a very consistent framework. And if you have anything wrong, like the language breaks, like it's easily broken. And it's something that you would have to like go to class and learn, right? And then you would, on the other spectrum, you have like natural languages. So that's like the language we learn, like English, Mandarin, or Spanish, like language where you learn just through experience. And then you can also use it in a very flexible way. So like when you're talking and you use different like words, people can still understand what you're trying to say just through context.
Did I space out? How does this relate to Apple?
Okay, so how this relate to Apple is this.
Yes,
So
you're
user
not,
interface.
You're not alone. I was actually staring at him the whole time.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is this. Okay, so language, you have these 2 spectrums. So a user interface is kind of like the middle, right? Because you're trying to have a natural language, but you also have to have it like a rigid system so that a computer can understand, right? So with the new iPad, when you're thinking of things like, because like with the iPhone, one of the revolution is like the ease of use. That people, when they use it, they think it's intuitive, right? And the word intuitive, a lot of people seem to use it incorrectly, I feel. But
So many fucking rabbit
The word
holes all
itself
over.
isn't intuitive.
yeah, but intuitive, I think in generality would mean the idea that you're learning without noticing. That whereas people, when they use the word intuitive, it's like, oh, that I should know it, right? Like I should know how to use this without using it. kind
Yo,
of thing.
man, I'm gonna.
It's like
I'm
you
gonna press,
naturally know how to use it.
Anyways,
Yes, I'm gonna press. I was gonna press the skip button for you.
Okay.
To that.
so the last thing I want. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is, so with the whole idea of like the Apple, what is it called? iPad. The idea of like cut and paste with the whole 3 fingers and 4 fingers, like that is kind of pushing the boundary of being intuitive, where I don't think people are gonna understand that.
I don't understand how this relates to like just language and. Well, how are you?
How I'm relating them? Okay,
Yeah.
so how I was relating it was the idea that user interface is kind of the middle of it, right? So when the iPhone came out, like for example, like pictures, you would zoom in by using your fingers and expanding the
I don't
picture,
think-
right?
I just don't think language is the best word to describe this at all.
It's gestures, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pinch
but
and
gesture
zoom.
is the language, right?
No,
It's like
no.
sign language. Sign language and gestures are like similar ideas.
What the fuck?
But you didn't need to go on to languages to explain
yeah,
this
you
part.
didn't need to.
I'm just trying to give us some context. To the
404.
viewers.
So
right
what's
there.
up with Apple's stand? Their
Yeah, that's
monitor
what I wanna
stand
talk
for
about. Not this
$1,000.
fucking rabbit hole into.
Well, they just want to gouge you. They've been doing this since day one. Apple charger sucks.
Well, yeah, everything of theirs is expensive,
expensive
but it's a
as fuck.
monitor stand. You don't get the monitor. It's $1,000.
See, they're pushing it now because they have a huge Apple fanboy fan base that just will buy whatever shit they come out.
They know
Yes,
that you're
it's
gonna
true.
buy it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Except I'm not, because I can't afford to,
Yeah,
and
but-
I don't have any Apple
But
stuff.
that's
to
why
get
you
it.
don't understand why they're charging $1,000.
But their $5,000 monitor that's supposed to hold doesn't even come with the stand.
yeah, they just don't want to tell you it's a $6,000 monitor.
And
And they're
if
trying
you-
to tell you it's a $5,000 monitor with a $1,000 stand.
And if you want to use like a different stand or something, you have to buy their like $200 adapter thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they want to keep you right into Apple.
It's an ecosystem. You can't leave it. Once you're in it, you're stuck.
I want to my next phone. I want to get an Apple.
Yeah, you're fucked, man.
Nah, I'll see how it goes.
Once you have an Apple phone, right? Like think of the charge pad that they never released. That looks like a tampon, or sorry, a maxi pad.
Okay, I'm not familiar, but go on.
Oh, it's a wireless charger.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, and it looks like a.
I don't even like wireless charging much. Like my phone has wireless charging. It
Yeah.
came with a wireless charger. I never use it.
Oh really? It's
Yeah.
supposed to be convenient. I mean, it's the idea
Just
like
lay
you
it
just
there, yeah.
you could just toss
Yeah.
it. But like the idea, like for example, like let's say you have an Apple phone, and you have an Apple Watch, and you also have the AirPods.
Yep.
It's kind of annoying to plug all three things into the wall. Whereas if
Oh,
you have
yeah,
one,
yeah.
you know, maxi pad, you could just like place it on there, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I get that.
It looks like it. It's white.
But
and
it's like
a
the
pad.
reason I don't use a wireless charger for my phone is just because I use it fairly often. So when I want to like hold it, I want it still to be charging. So I prefer to have it plugged in.
Yeah, I mean that's the same complaint as people who says that they don't like missing their audio jack, and that they want to listen to music while charging their phone.
Yeah, I
Well,
still want that too.
Eventually, what they'll have is wherever you are in your house, you'll have your phone will charge.
Yes, that'd be
Will
That
be
nice.
would be an interesting.
The wireless charging will be so powerful that anywhere you go in your house, your phone will be charged.
That's
will
like-
be charging.
And all your sperm will be dead.
You won't have to produce sperm anymore. You can buy Apple sperm for like $20 one sperm.
It's gonna become like a whole
Yeah,
genetic thing where
yeah.
superior race.
Apple's.
Anyways,
Well, apparently Apple is known for that. Their female employees, they pay them to freeze their eggs so that they don't get pregnant in the early ages of their careers.
do they get
Jesus,
paid?
wait, is
extra
this
for
real
that?
or is this like
There's a promotion they did, yeah.
a promotion?
A promotion?
For the female engineers. They like pay them to freeze their eggs so they don't
Like per egg?
Oh man,
I don't know how many eggs they freeze, but
I
it's
actually wanna-
basically trying to delay their family life.
I
But
wanna-
they could still get
That sounds
pregnant.
like that sounds like a big fucking lawsuit.
They continuously generate eggs.
No, it's to
That's-
freeze it so that if they want to get pregnant, then they don't like because women do feel like they have a time where they can get pregnant, right?
But I don't.
But
think,
then
okay,
they'd have to
I think-
pay them to be like, you'd have to agree not to get pregnant.
Yeah. I think. You're
Oh, I see.
I
yeah.
think you're getting. Yeah, maybe they have that program where like they'll pay for them to freeze their egg, but I don't think they can coerce them to not have kids.
Yeah,
You know,
because I'd be like,
But why would they
That's-
pay them to freeze the eggs? Then?
it's just they can pay them to freeze the eggs, but they cannot explicitly say that. Oh, it's because we don't want you to get pregnant.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming if they do get pregnant, it's like, well, your frozen eggs are ours or something.
no, that's illegal.
It's like we bought your eggs.
See why this story sounds so fucked up is because all of that, everything that you just came out of your mouth just sounds like fucking lawsuits.
yeah, like human rights lawsuits.
Like I don't think Apple wanted to open up just easy lawsuits.
That's what I'm afraid. Well, going back a bit while he looks that up, I actually was looking towards the next Apple as my new phone. However, the only thing that I would want, in addition to that, to like they're gonna gouge me into their ecosystem. But the only thing I would want is their Apple Watch. Apple Watch is by far better than any Android smartwatch. But like earpods, other crap, I don't want to buy into. I don't see the benefit, and I'm also hoping that their next one. There was rumors that they're going to use USB Type-C, so I won't have to like buy their chargers and stuff either. Hopefully.
I'm doing the opposite. I'm getting out of Apple.
So
the next phone, I'm not buying an Apple.
But you're probably not going to get a new phone for a while.
No, not for a while.
Oh, you're getting out of it. Why?
Cause I don't want it.
Oh.
I don't want it.
Okay, so started with Facebook apparently, but in this article it does say that Apple and Facebook pay for females employees to freeze their eggs.
Yes, and.
Oh, there's a lot to read, but I'm assuming our viewers can look it up.
Okay, but like, does it
I'm
say
not making it up as well.
They can't coerce them not to get pregnant though and shit like that.
No, I don't think they can coerce them, but I think if.
But it is America. I don't know.
But I feel like if the employees want to take the options, that Apple and Facebook will support them in freezing their eggs.
Because your maternity leave is like what, like fucking 1 day or something like that. I don't know.
Well, in the States, yeah, it's way worse. So we have to like. So if your company that you work for offered to pay you to freeze your sperm, would you do it?
Your sperm? They just
Well, I don't think they would.
Well, no, that's of course they would. I would hope not. Like,
because I don't think because guys could just keep generating them.
Yeah, well,
like,
girls could keep generating eggs too, but.
Well, there's a prime time for
yeah,
fertilization.
sure. But
That's the thing, because like birth is more complicated because your eggs age with the body, whereas sperm is a little bit different, right? We produce by the millions.
But would you do it? Would you freeze your sperm if they paid you?
What's the point of freezing your sperm?
Yeah,
yeah, that's the thing. I don't.
Unless you're getting irradiated, there's no point.
I guess it's more like would I take the payment if they told me to delay my family life? That's the. More equivalent, right?
It's just like that episode of The Office where like Steve Carell is getting mad at the CFO. It's like, I didn't even. He's like, I can't believe you're doing this to me. You know, David Wallace. I put off having a family for this company and everything. And then David Wallace like, we never asked you to do this. Michael, we never asked you to do any of this. That would be bad. I would fuck that. Like that company they should just burn to the ground if we could reach that point where like, hey, instead of having kids, you should just work through all of it. Yeah, no, burn it all to the ground.
But if it's something like Apple, they're not gonna go down that easily.
Yeah, they're like, we need you because we have this product launch and we can't have you start a family just yet. But that's the thing with companies, right? They ask you for this, but they never stop asking you.
That's the fucking thing.
It's an endless thing.
Like, there's always going to be another project that will,
of course not.
that will inconvenience you. They're like, oh, thanks for working those late night shifts, but next week is also really bad. Can you also work these late night shifts?
Oh yeah, that's
no
just
shit.
And then it's like,
all those people that are like advocating this fucking ANCAP reality where everything's just run by corporations and companies. Yeah, this is what's gonna be happening.
Yeah, you got to stand up for your own. Like no, my vacation, because like companies aren't gonna give back your vacation. They say they will, but oftentimes there's always more projects, and then they just kind of guilt trip you more and more to the point where you just realize, oh, I'm screwed.
Well, it's not so much guilt trip as like threatening your job.
Threatened, yeah.
In some sense,
Guilt trip.
yeah. Well, they start with guilt, but then they move on to threats when they realize it doesn't work, kind of thing.
It's
right?
like, if you don't do this, we'll get someone else to do it, and then you'll be out of a job.
Yeah, you can have your vacation forever.
Oh, can't wait for it to revolt.
Paid vacation forever. Deal.
Revolt. Hard revolt.
You know, I was thinking, what's the word? Exclusivity.
Yep. Okay.
It's a terrible, terrible thing to have.
What?
Okay, so basically, I was watching this video and they were talking about how we were talking about this before.
Brian's hot take on the YouTube video.
Netflix, right?
This is one of my favorite segments.
All right, so back on the Netflix rant.
Okay.
We were saying how Netflix, their shows are they're not as great as they used to be, and that programs are kind of pulling out and starting their own streaming service, so for example, like Disney. Disney Plus and
Catch it.
And we're talking about like how there's an increase of piracy because of this. Is that rather than subscribing to all these different streaming hubs that people are just gonna pirate. Right?
Yep.
And one of the
True.
Fast
biggest,
forward.
so the biggest problem, right? Because if you think of the reason, like a lot of people would think like, oh, we're adding more competition, therefore things are gonna get better. But the reason it doesn't work that way is because of exclusivity, right? Because shows are bound to a certain network, right?
Yeah.
It's not like oh, Netflix, Disney, HBO, they can all have the same show, and then therefore you could kind of choose which streaming service based on quality.
Yeah.
You have to show it based on the show you like, and then because of that, people actually don't tend to cancel their subscription. They just add to their subscription. So you're almost like buying channels. It's almost back in the dark ages.
Well, this is back to how cable was. That's why
exactly.
Netflix made it so big, because back for cable and everything, you'd have to subscribe to certain packages to get certain channels, which had that content. And, Netflix was such a golden boy because, they were the only ones at the time, basically, or they were the giant at the time.
And everyone went to
everything.
them to host everything. Yeah.
So now it's splitting up again. That's like...
So you're going to get the same thing.
See, but if you think of, like, say, the DVD business, like Blockbusters, it wasn't like that before. Like there was a right, I forgot what the legislation right was, but like you couldn't prevent Blockbusters from selling only a certain movies, right? Like oh, we can only sell Warner Brothers. They could sell any movie, right?
Yeah.
Because there are physical elements. But with streaming, because it's IP, they have this exclusive deal to certain streaming. Then you can't watch, like, say, Game of Thrones on Netflix. You have to watch it from
But
HBO.
that's all the corporations on how they're wanting to do with it, because
Yeah.
they want all the money for their streaming services and everything.
Right. So my theory is, as we get more streaming service, instead of making Netflix, well, not only does it hurt Netflix, but it hurts all streaming service. Basically, all streaming services are worse because of competition. Because the more there are, the more like divided shows are, right?
Yeah.
Then the best one is pirating. Like and there's
Where you could get anything.
There was a website, forgot what it was, but it did have like numbers on like internet activities, like how much people visit Facebook and how much of the world's traffic is used on what website, and they did show like pirating increasing again, because it was actually a record low a couple of years ago.
So they rank it, like they rank what people are doing most on the
Yeah,
internet.
they were showing like where people.
So
visit.
what's second after porn?
Actually, porn wasn't really there. I think YouTube
What?
was really high. Like YouTube and the thing, porn is probably categorized under this thing called HTTP. So it's just like video sites. So that could be where porn is. But
Okay.
YouTube is actually higher, I
It's a
think.
bit disappointing.
But also like in video game world, we're seeing that again too, right?
Oh,
Because right now
been happening for a while.
Steam is the big one, but now Epic Game
It's,
is entering the market.
Well, it's like EA had their Origins for a long time now. Ubisoft
right.
has their own launcher. All these companies have their different launchers. So.
But it didn't seem to affect Steam as much.
Well, it wouldn't as long as you don't have to pay a subscription to use the service.
Well, the thing for EA is, I think you can have a subscription service, but you get basically their entire EA library that you can play at any time.
See,
but.
what gets what's sinking the television and streaming industry right now is it's the subscription service.
Right. I guess you do have to pay. But I do have friends who will not buy Borderlands off of Epic until it came out on Steam.
Yeah, that's fucking.
Like what if you're right, like you could just purchase this game off another channel. It doesn't cost you any different. Then why do people hold out until it comes on their platform, I guess?
Because they're probably
I don't really
probably
know.
scared of what's happening exactly how exactly how you said it. Some people have concerns over like those what's it called, like the DRM whatever.
Yeah.
It's like anti-piracy things that they stick right into the games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of them hate using whatever, buying a game off of whatever because of that. But also the reason that you just outlined, that they don't want it to be going from one centralized Steam that you can buy games off of into all these little fiefdoms of games that game companies where you can buy your games from. That's probably why. And plus, from EA, people just hate EA just off of reputation. So maybe they'd rather buy some people would rather buy an EA game off Steam than the game straight from EA if they started their own service, just because they had that stink on them, right?
I don't know. It's kind of mixed with gaming because there's so many games that are available on other platforms, whereas for TV and such like Netflix, where they're a lot more exclusive.
Yeah, games is not a problem. The streaming services right now are a problem.
Yeah,
So
so
everything this by subscription is not working.
Yeah.
And
I don't see how we're ever gonna get back to the golden age where we have one platform.
one centralized streaming service. It'll
That's the thing,
probably
though.
Go back to something like that. One centralized streaming service. One of these days.
Like-
Imagine if the government just nationalized streaming.
That would suck actually,
This
because
is-
it's already like Netflix in the States and like UK and Canada. They all get some different stuff because of issues with rights.
Yeah.
So that would suck. If
UN shit.
Well, the rights would just stay the same. It's just that
we
it wouldn't
need
be a
universal
company.
rights.
we need UN to take up
The
this.
UN.
The UN.
Well, then the UN needs to raise an army now.
If the UN has it, because they have most of the nations, and then
No, you know what you could do. In the future, it's something like this can be easily solved. It just won't because there's a lot of private interest in having copyrights by regions and whatnot, right? What they can do, and this has been done before, is just a bunch of countries have an agreement. Let's just say, hypothetically, let's pretend they come together. They have basically like almost like a trade treaty, but it's like a streaming treaty. So they say, like, hey, we're gonna share all the fucking movies that we're gonna put on stream. It'll be the exact same from this country to that country, this country to that country. Anything this country makes is gonna be available for stream for everybody in the country A
that
and
would be
country B.
fantastic. We could
So
watch
it's
anime.
like an
right along.
agreement. It's like NAFTA, but not over free trade. It's just trans-border show
Media.
viewing.
So it'd be like
That's it. That's pretty simple.
NAF TV.
Right, but you won't get that because everything is
Capitalism.
by private.
Yeah.
It's by private. Right?
Competition's the nature of the game.
So maybe we just need that
in this
one big
case-
company to own all, like Disney.
So,
National
yeah, like
licenses.
Disney
Disney.
that owns every like TV
So
network.
Disney buys everything.
and then they
You'll
just
just have to hope that Disney doesn't turn into the villain at that point, right?
The
That'd be the thing.
because right now like okay.
But
think
you
of-
hit the head on the nail because
the head on the nail.
the nail on the head.
Yeah, there
Shit,
you go.
fuck. I said it. I said it first like that.
Yeah,
and I'm
you
like,
had
oh,
it.
no,
You
no,
had
no.
it
you
there.
changed the coffin.
Yeah. Yeah, no. You fucking hit the nail right on the head. I said it right?
Yep. Yeah,
Yes.
you got it.
Fuck yes.
On the nose.
Okay, so you did it because like they always say like competition is great, and by the theory of the market competition, everything should be great. Everything should be cheaper, and everything should be way more affordable with all this competition. But the nuances that you pointed out make it in reality where that's not happening, right? It's you want to watch a show, but only that fucking studio carries that show, or that streaming site carries that show, right? So it's like,
I wonder if there would be a way for them to make it cross-platform. Like for gaming, going back to gaming, but in a different way. A lot more games have been becoming more cross-platform, like
With consoles.
yes,
Right?
consoles. So like PS4, Xbox, and PC are the big three that for example, like Rocket League or games like that, you can play cross-platform between all those.
yeah, but still,
And it's
same
becoming
one
more-
company.
Yeah, but it's like before, you'd have to make the decision. Oh, I want to get the PlayStation over an Xbox because
Right.
all my friends are gonna get PlayStations and we want to
port
play
it.
online.
But with consoles and PC is a little different because the games are owned by the third party.
Yeah.
And they're putting
Yeah.
the third party on these
Yeah,
consoles.
in this case, if you're thinking about like porting like a movie to Netflix and Disney, well, Disney and Netflix have both invested so much capital into fucking developing their own streaming services. They will shit bricks if fucking you have one movie that's available on all these platforms that
Because the platform isn't the hard part; it's the movie, the rights.
the
part
rights,
is the
yeah,
issue.
Yeah. But
It's the
I just
ownership.
wonder if down the road sometime they might come to like some trade agreement kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh yeah, we'll let you play this movie on your
Yeah, no, it
service
would-
as
but,
well.
like, it would
if
have
we
to
can
be-
play that one.
It would have to. The state would have to take over the streaming.
But even in
services.
your own argument, like games that are, made by PlayStation, like say Last of Us or, what's the one with Nathan Drake?
Uncharted, yeah.
They're not like cross-platform.
No.
You can't play them but only on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Right? Or say Halo, you can only play on Xbox. So it's the same problem. But if we're talking about a universe where we have one platform, we actually do have that right now on YouTube. Because in the early days of YouTube, we used to have different platforms where you could stream like blogs and stuff, right? Like we had Vimeo, we had other shows, right? Other platforms where creators could upload their shows. But basically YouTube paid their creators to put stuff on their platform, and then just kind of like took out the competition and now monopolizes it.
You know what? We'll have to, for the solution that everybody should look to, it should be the Japanese porn sites, porn streaming sites. And I will explain why. So in Japan... Why? What are you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, it's not that as a solution, but it's also like giving too much power to one entity is not a great idea as well. Because YouTube,
of course not.
YouTube is also in a bind where whatever they do, they always anger people.
No,
so.
of course
yeah.
not. Okay, anyways.
Sorry, Japanese porn. Go ahead.
Japanese porn.
Okay,
so
continue.
I will impart my knowledge of this subject. In Japan, there's a big, they have porn studios that create their own titles and whatnot, right? But they have basically one centralized site that kind of like distributes this shit. It's like the Amazon or whatever for porn in Japan, right? It's called like DMM. And they have an English version site that's called R18. Yes, I know all this. So it's basically, it's just they have all the movies and all the mangas and all that shit on their site from all these different studios.
Hentai's under this?
Yeah,
wow.
everything. And like they sell normal products too on DMM, I think, but they have a DMM adult, and then it's like all the porn studios, all the movies from all these other porn studios in Japan, that list their movies on there. But it's not like it's, and you can buy a subscription to whatever studio you want, or you just purchase it a la carte by movie.
A la carte.
Yeah.
That's a good way to phrase it.
I'm just gonna have a taste of this one.
Yeah, so you can do it a la carte, or you can do
a set meal.
right. You can do a la carte set meal. Well, that set meal will be like you purchase like DMM points or whatever, and then you can use that to spend on whatever titles, or you subscribe to specific studios.
Man, if they're listening, I hope they sponsor us.
So
I mean, like in the future. Well, you're wondering what it might look like in the future because the streaming fucking industry is just in flux right now, right? Depending on where the capital is going, how they're marketing this shit, and how they're presenting it, how they're like it's a kind of like it's all decentralizing, and they're turning into their own little fiefdoms of Disney and Netflix and Amazon and whatever.
So couldn't they push their agenda? Like for example, like let's say they're against homosexuals, then they wouldn't like promote those type of...
Yeah, you're going way too far into this.
Oh, okay.
into like this influencing thing.
Because I feel like with that much control,
yes, they could.
You could like totally just like, we are only showing straight porn.
Well...
But then they lose that audience.
No, they show as much as the Japanese society allows them to show, right? Because their job is just kind of like, it's just like a marketplace. It's like a listing site where you can go to it. It's like Amazon has all these products from sellers to buyers, right? This is kind of like the same thing. But in the future, maybe that's what we'll go to eventually. Instead of, like Netflix sort of hinted at it where Netflix became a thing and then people just rushed to Netflix to start, putting their products on there. But then, and Netflix started having their own products too. And then, these other really powerful studios started to think, hey, let's get it on the streaming game, made their own.
Well, I feel like Netflix made their own product because they saw the eventuality that people were pulling out.
Right, but like the idea that right in the beginning, everybody was going to Netflix because they saw Netflix as this one entity that people will go to stream from, right?
Yeah, they were the one.
So that's what it would... When people are getting tired of, should I subscribe to Disney or Amazon or whatever, maybe eventually, that this idea will pop up again. Maybe you'll get the Western version of DMM, right? Where it just pops up as this big listing site where you can decide if you want to watch a Netflix film, or you have to buy it, I guess, a la carte, Or on that, let's just say this hypothetical DMM site, you can say, hey, I want to have a subscription to Netflix and Amazon, blah, 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 blah. Maybe they'll have deals. If not deals, maybe you can buy specifically in DMM currency to spend on using, like on whatever shows you want to stream. Maybe it'll be something like that.
So
Yeah.
that's the situation. Let's say Netflix were to implement something like that, where you can, or like all these sites, I should say, where you can just pick like the a la carte. I want to watch this movie or like the show. How much would they charge for that? Because right now,
Yeah,
They
they probably
charge more.
they
A la
they
carte's
charge
always charging
premium.
more.
Yeah.
And YouTube's kind of like that right now. Like you could buy movies on YouTube, right?
yeah. But I would hope that it'd be cheaper than that because it's like a few bucks for the movie,
Actually,
whereas monthly it's like
YouTube might
more.
be that platform we're talking about, where they start streaming all the movies.
That's
Right.
what. Yeah, actually.
Because YouTube is
They could do that.
That's what I was kind of getting at too. Like, oh, you need one thing where like people have just mass amounts of people are already on it.
Yeah.
Use it for this kind of thing.
And YouTube use
is
it.
what something.
But that's the problem with YouTube as well, is that people feel like their content's being censorship, right? Because YouTube has a problem. Well, YouTube, when big companies start complaining about other companies, they have to start demonetizing them or unincentivize them.
Right, but well, it's mostly just people against like individual commentators that just fucking they push the fringe and shit, right? And they say controversial shit. Usually they're the ones that get demonetized.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't see like big movie studios or producing like movie studios getting demonetized on YouTube.
But that's also the issue too.
Providing products.
Because people are, I guess, people who watch YouTube for a long time feel like YouTube is becoming too commercialized. That all you're seeing is like late night shows being presented to you, or like movie trailers and stuff, and less about content creators who made content.
I don't think so.
Like
There's
us.
So
Like
fucking,
us, exactly.
There's so many people just on it. Just bullshit.
Oh, that's
Just bullshit.
Like
that's another
us.
issue. That's another issue with YouTube.
Like
as
us,
well.
yeah.
YouTube also has that problem, is that it's such an iceberg of content. Like they have so much content coming in. Like how do you show a limited number of videos to a certain person, right? And so that's the challenge. But anyways, YouTube perhaps can be our savior, but it could also be our downfall.
Yeah, it's
having
leading
all the-
Don't
towards the
trust.
latter.
I would never put my faith in any company to be any kind of savior for anything.
Yeah. Look at how Google went.
Yeah.
And even Apple and like all the companies you could think
Google
of.
their old slogan used to be
It's like do no evil.
do no
Yeah.
evil. Yeah.
Now they're doing all the evil.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it's blatant. Like when we started the podcast, I remember it was like the first episode or second episode, and we talked about this, and it was like, and then the Google employees were upset. They were working with like the military for defense contracts now, right? Now, as of recording this podcast, like it's a full blown thing. Like Google has gone all in since that first episode we released. They've gone all in on this, with like the CEO of Google basically saying like, yes, we are committed to doing to the defense contracts. So like that hasn't even been a year. Well, it has been a year. If
Just
a
over a
year-ish.
year. Yeah, roughly.
It's fast. Like
Yeah.
And now I have their phone, so they probably know everything we just said.
Yeah. Just drone strike this house right now.
Oh, they also pull Android off of Huawei, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So they can't get apps or Huawei.
Well, like
can't.
they're still supporting them for the time being, but like, yeah.
Well, I don't think they have much of a choice because it's like a government thing, right?
Yeah.
The ban.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
there's-
whole fucking geopolitical trade war strategic
Yeah.
deal. But what it does is it basically lights a fire under the ass of China. So then what they did was they went all in on just making basically the mainland adaptation and their own OS software to run on all their Huawei phones after.
Yeah,
So
that
it's-
makes sense.
It's still possible for them to, be fully functional and everything, but it'll take a lot of work because they need hardware and software.
They apparently did it because
Well, they have the hardware.
I was reading this.
Well, they
yeah,
still-
it was the
they need
software.
everything
It's mostly
hardware,
software
though.
and then like the being able to use apps like Google Apps, Good Gmail, and whatever
Yeah.
on Huawei phones, right? And I was reading a post from one of the guys that are kind of an insider over there. It's not something secretive. It's just like he's in the industry, and he basically said, right when that announced, like basically Huawei and they already had a contingency plan where it's like, what if, what if so and so boycotted us? What if we weren't able to use Google anymore, or what if we weren't able to use Android, right? Or the OSs that come with Android? What do? They had a contingency plan, right? It's like the what if plan.
Yep.
Actually happened, and they moved, and they activated their contingency plan, and they poured a whole bunch of resources into it, and apparently a lot of it is actually like manual. I don't know what the term is because I'm not a fucking tech guy, but basically they program it and they write the code in a way where it's like at the end user it's like a seamless transition, but what they do is almost like they got the code, and since they can't use, I guess, Google like code in the apps, they basically write a comparable clone code to be able to run a Google app on your phone. It's essentially like the guy specifically called it like the condom technique or whatever, right? So it's like you're not actually pulling anything from Google because, like they're boycotted or whatever, right? They can't use it. But what you do is you create almost an exact replica functioning clone that can kind of use the services, because again, like technically, legally, like the data itself in most countries' jurisdictions, like your email is your mail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not Google's property to have your email. That's the saying it goes for Gmail. So that you can allow them to read their mail on the Google app, even though you gutted the app and basically put in your own clone, your own proprietary data and work in there. But it pulls, it basically lets them functionally read their own Gmail on the Gmail app, but you're legally not using the Google proprietary code. And apparently they did this as future phones with this embargo going around. Like you should, once it's like hammered out, even future phones without the Google apps on it, you can download the Google apps on the Google, on like the app whatever, like the app
Play Store. Yeah.
The app store that Huawei phones will have. You can get Gmail from it. But, and they would be within, I guess they would be not contravening anything because all of their code that they wrote would be their proprietary code. So it's like, it's just the shell of Gmail, but when they pull email or whatever, it's using their own code to kind of pull out whatever, to function.
Do people in China use Gmail?
No.
Oh,
but
okay.
see, that's the thing. Like, it's completely unaffected in China because China has their own ecosystem. Right?
Yeah, the WeChat.
So, but
system.
they did this, the contingency for overseas.
Oh, for users.
For overseas
outside.
users.
Yeah.
They're a big.
I mean, they do sell a lot of phones outside.
Yeah,
China
they're
too.
huge now. So
They're like number one, aren't they? Like they sell the most phones.
they're definitely up there. I don't know if they're number one or not, but it's because they're like more low cost than a lot of other.
Yeah, they're not number one yet, but it's just like their growth has been the fastest by far, right?
Oh, definitely.
Huge.
And with embargoes, usually if you embargo a country that has the resources to kind of do this stuff themselves, they usually just get like a cocaine dose of making it in-house after that. So they're making their own OS in-house. And, there's news reports that it's like 60% faster than whatever the new Android phones use, right? But
a lot of external people, like outside of China, are going to be more sketchy on getting that.
Yeah.
And
that's what they're working on, like the whole fucking manual migration and the using of the condom.
They're probably not
technique.
going to say that in the marketing campaign.
No,
the condom.
The guy went really technical because he's the guy that made the post.
He's probably a developer.
Yeah, he was in the industry, and basically he's like saying, "Yeah, this is what we're doing."
Well, even with the whole Trump, he's not playing very nicely with the neighbors either, right? Like Mexico, he's adding another
Yeah,
tariff.
this will hurt you diplomatically because like it's clear to everybody, this is not something that is on everybody's interest. He's only doing it for his own interest, right? So it's like if you get burned, you get burned. So
yeah.
In the future, what this means is there's less credibility. There's less countries will go along with what America would want them to do.
Yeah, I can't think of any countries that don't or who has free trades with America now, because they added stuff on Canada and now on Mexico as well.
Well, we kind of like Canada and Mexico scrambled to still salvage to have
a
trade
the
deal.
U.S.
The U.S. What was it? MC whatever.
Yeah, MCA, I think. Yeah.
So would you still get a Huawei phone?
I guess I would. Well, for
Actually, that'd be naturally your
for
phone.
efficiency, for just convenience sake, maybe I'll just get another Chinese phone that isn't Huawei right now because there's so much heat on it.
Yeah, well, it'd be like future, like let's say a few years down the line.
Future, I would, because the way it's rolling out, like 5G is going to get implemented in China first. Like they're already giving out 5G licenses to companies, and they've like upgraded a bunch of hubs near train stations to run
Right.
5G.
Oh, it's gonna be forever for Canada to get
Oh,
5G.
yeah, we get nothing.
Right, so like
we're just a little bit.
Our infrastructure's terrible for all
Yeah,
that.
Well, it's also because our population is too spread out.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a big
It makes
Yeah.
it impossible.
Yeah.
so in the future, like a lot of Huawei products would probably be worth it to get it, even though
I feel like by the time you need a new phone, Huawei would be an viable option.
I think so. Like it was already it was only my own laziness and not upgrading my phone right now that I don't have a Huawei phone. I was actually thinking of getting like the
P20?
Yeah, P20 or something like
Yeah,
that.
that one's nice.
Has a nice camera.
Yeah.
I like technology, so I like getting phones fairly often, even though I don't really need it.
Are you implying that
But-
I do not like technology?
I'm saying I might like
I'm not
having
a
new technology
rube like
more
that
than
guy.
you.
So
who
do you
doesn't like
use
technology?
cases on your phone then? If
Yeah,
you always
case
get a
on
new
this
phone,
one.
then what's the point of having a case?
Well, this came with my phone, so.
Oh, okay.
But my last phone before this, I actually dropped it, and actually, like the first phone I've ever had that I actually dropped, and it cracked the screen and everything, and it became such a mess that I actually had to get a new phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like I actually am fairly serious in and when I was saying I might get the new iPhone this year, even though I don't need it because this phone's perfectly fine. But my thought process is more so I'll try out the Apple, and I'll still have this as a backup if I don't like their ecosystem or whatever, and because this phone's still so far perfectly fine.
That's the thing. It's like remember when you played Diablo 2, and then there's like this armor sets where you had the only way you can get the full potential of all your gear is you have to collect the whole set.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Apple is. You're not gonna get all the bonuses until you collect the whole set.
Well,
the
You also
ecosystem is where it's
need
at.
friends that use Apple.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because like
I mean,
iMessage is
Message is the
fantastic.
big one that people say is like why they can't leave the Apple
Oh yeah,
ecosystem.
because it goes through all your devices.
Yeah, but
Which is really
like I
nice.
keep fairly up to date with all the different companies and what they have, and the only ones that really impress me for Apple is like the iPhone's still top of line in performance and everything. iPad, I don't need that if I have a phone. I've played with the iPad. I had one before, anyways.
How
I
about the
gave it away.
iWatch?
The watch and the phone are the only two things that I would consider getting.
Oh, how about the pods? The
Nah,
AirPods.
I don't care.
They're so annoying.
I already have Bluetooth headphones. So.
Yeah, I just listen to music through my speaker. I just let other people listen to it as well.
Yeah, but I'm on the bus every day, so I
just let other people
He
listen
plays
to
it
it.
on the bus.
okay.
He plays it on the elevator.
This
He
is
plays
why I
it-
have noise canceling headphones.
That doesn't help you. Noise canceling is only good if there's a pattern.
Yeah, but it still blocks out some general noise. So if you're like down the bus and listening to your music, I still won't hear that from the other end of the bus.
Okay.
You blasting it from your speaker.
Jason, can you hear this?
Even if I did hear you, I'd ignore you.
So how we're looking on time?
We're at 1 hour 30.
Should we do a bonus for the big topic?
There's a big topic. What's the big topic?
Sure, if you want to, we can do a bonus. We can end this and do a bonus.
I guess we'll lead our listeners. We're gonna talk about Hong Kong.
Oh,
Sure,
yes.
yeah, let's do it.
Right, you did mention that.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
Speaking
man.
of Huawei and China and crap.
To be continued.
Yeah, alright, serious podcast.
So you don't mind if the Huawei phone spies on you then? If
All my phones, I'm already living under the assumption that everything is spying on me.
Yes, I am too. That's why I
Yeah.
always say like Google already knows everything about
Yeah,
me, so I don't
no
care.
shit.
Actually,
yeah.
you know, it's crazy. Black Mirror has new episode. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen them yet either.
Me neither.
I saw the trailer thing that auto plays on Netflix and
Yeah.
showed the Miley Cyrus bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested because it's almost like there's some truth to it. I bet.
Because you want to hang out with Miley Cyrus?
I want to hang out with Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
Hannah Montana.
Okay. Sure.
I guess she's not as psycho anymore. She kind
Well,
of
she's
recovered.
still crazy though.
She recovered from her lows of when she was really fucking.
No, I think
Lost her
that was a
marbles.
choice. I don't think it was mental illness. It's not like
No,
Britney.
it was like her downward spiral, and then now she's kind of like.
Stabilized.
Yeah,
in a
stabilized.
way.
Well, she's not like Keanu Reeves who like skyrocketed because his career was going downward.
Yeah, but Keanu Reeves was always like cool and chill.
was he cool? I thought people
Yeah.
made fun of him until John Wick. Like
No,
I remember
but
people
when did
always
people make fun of him?
They made fun of it because he can't
all
act.
the time. Yeah, he had like terrible
He's
acting.
really
Have you ever heard his
No,
British
it's just
accent?
like it's just like monotone-ish, but that's
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
They made fun of her for
It was
bad
the
acting.
same way as like people making fun of Kristen Stewart for Twilight.
Yeah.
It's
But
very
she
similar.
she never got better at acting, did she?
She has.
Has
But
she? I haven't
she
seen
does
any.
more indie
But
films.
I do remember when you would like tease Keanu Reeves. or
The only thing I
whatever.
remember of like somewhat akin to teasing Keanu Reeves was like when the meme of him like looking all sad, like sad Keanu Reeves was the meme, right? But it's like he has had a sad life. He lost like his girlfriend and stuff
Yeah.
and
Wait,
all that.
oh, John Wick was a real story?
No. Keanu Reeves himself. He lost him and his girlfriend. Well, he had a lot of tragedy in his family. I think he lost a sister or whatever. Maybe he lost some parents as well.
He lost a lot of people close to him.
And then he and his girlfriend were expecting a baby. The baby died, and then shortly after, his girlfriend or I think fiance, no, they broke up for a short while, and then she got killed in a traffic accident. Like not that long after they had their expected baby died. So yeah, there is a whole.
So
bunch
good
of
on
shit
him
that
because
happened.
he's a very optimistic person
Yes.
when he's on stage.
No, he's super cool. Like if you've seen the video of him just talking, he has a motorcycle company, and if you see him talking about like cars and motorcycles and all that, you could see like he has a huge passion.
Well,
for
even
stuff.
on E3, what was the guy in the crowd?
Oh,
They're
yeah,
like,
it's
"You're
like-
breathtaking."
Yeah.
No, you're breathtaking. Like that's amazing.
It is. It's very heartwarming.
Yeah,
He's just so cool about it.
It's very genuine.
All right, shall we?
Very wholesome.
Shall we wrap this up and then let's do the bonus?
Yep.
All right, thanks for listening to another episode of Verbal Active.
Yes, thanks to all the fans, and stay tuned for the bonus.
Yeah, and again, if you have anything you want us to talk about, let us know through some sort of thing.
They'll
Comments.
find a way to reach us if they want to.
I'm gonna try to keep it. I'm actually gonna put freaking Twitter
You know
on
what'd
my
be
phone
funny?
just for this purpose.
You know
I've
what'd be
never
funny?
had
Like,
Twitter before.
there's like-
Finally, our
there's like-
Twitter is updated since last year.
Right
like-
now, I'm gonna install Twitter on my phone.
we have a
just for
huge
that.
fan base that like want us to talk about something and we just never read it.
Yeah,
And
they
they're
could
like,
be
"God,
like
these guys just always talk about what they want to talk
Yeah,
about."
no, seriously. For
one
anybody,
person's like, "I'm gonna kill myself if you don't talk about this on the next podcast."
We'll talk about it. Don't
It's
worry,
like
man.
freaking 4 months ago.
Yeah. Oh God. It was Stan.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll keep an eye on things.
We got a
Better.
letter
We'll
from a
keep-
viewer.
We'll
like,
keep
we
a
read the whole
better.
letter.
We'll keep a better eye on things. All right. See it.
keep things flowing.
Yeah. Keep things flowing.